I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of
Friday,
those
happy days. The weekend comes, a cycle hums.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet.
Just knock it off, you scum fuckhead.
It's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, a cycle hums. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one you complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you go stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about
Monday, happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, a cycle hums. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is the distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the farms.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll start playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I got a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 46 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine Sunday evening? I know it's been really, really cold for the past couple of days, but hey, that's November for you. We're approaching December. We're in the midst of winter now, so it's expected to be that cold. It's expected to be that. So, let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now. Of course, as I see a lot of familiar faces as per usual, which is excellent to see as always. 23 people watching the show, which is again really good stuff. Hopefully by midway through the show, hopefully more people will be tuning in. There also may be a possibility that I might need to cut the show early. So maybe I'll finish the show run about 7:30, run about that time. It's mainly because I've got stuff to do later on tonight, so that sort of idea. So, and then hopefully I may cover all the stuff for tonight's episode. If not, I can maybe finish all of that off for episode 47, which would be Thursday, of course. But of course, enough talk about that. Let me have a look and see who's here. We have Budgie Burger as usual. How you doing? Clinton Hicks, Ballad of Kyle Rittenhouse. Possibly play that later on in the show. As a matter of fact, let me just write that down in my notes just to remind myself, of course. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh, Clinton Hicks. Sorry, I wrote Clifton. Clinton Hicks. That should go right here. Perfect. Thank you very much. Although it might be a song I have played on previous episodes. So even, of course, because of what we're going to be talking about, I'll possibly put that song on again later on. So we shall see. We shall see. We also have Gavin Sandwich, Even 2-2. Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Streaky Bacon. I got to get up for work in 12 hours and it's going to be cold. Yeah, I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. Amanda Lee, how you doing? Even all 14 men folk washing up, done and wine in hand, ready for the chief. It's freezing here. Well, thank you for your for the message, Amanda. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, it's really cold now. In fact, as a matter of fact, today was snowing across Scotland, which was really surprising to see, considering from my experience, we would normally get snow around about after January, maybe February time, I think. But But hey, it's nice to see a bit of snow dropping down in the middle of winter. Well, in the middle of not in the middle, sorry, towards the end of November. Maybe today might not be the only day where it's snowing across, but we never know. Maybe it might snow again at some point. We just need to wait and see, really. So, menfolk fed. No worries, Amanda. So, we also have Kerr from PA Young Scots. How you doing, Kerr? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Kenny Hinney. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Corona, woo, woo, woo. It feels like Christmas now. Yeah, I mean, I did complain about, earlier on that it's kind of a bit silly that a lot of people are putting up their decorations up in the middle of November, but I can understand that a bit more towards end of November till the start of December. And of course, I have heard a few Christmas songs played already today, but that's definitely a sign that Christmas is just around the corner. So that's good stuff. We also have the Woodlander. How you doing, sir? Thank you very much for watching the show. We have Corona again. Neighbours have got the lights on, and we have our first snow. Ah, excellent. It definitely gives it that Christmassy feeling at this point, which is really good stuff. We also have Rory Herbert. How you doing? Good evening, folks. I've just finished a belated roast turkey Thanksgiving dinner with my family, so I'm feeling a little sleepy. No worries, Rory. If you fall asleep during the show, I don't blame you. But hopefully you've enjoyed your Thanksgiving dinner, so that's all good stuff. We also have Tony Smith. Good evening, Chief Goody, and everyone in the chat. Good evening to you too, Tony. Appreciate you being here. Let me see. Will the Chief be wearing his cowboy hat this evening? Maybe not this evening, but I would say possibly in the near future. But I'm not going to say too much about it, but just I would definitely say keep your eyes open for that. I would say pay a close attention to that when it comes. Definitely towards December, just after Christmas, I would say. So can't wait for that. So we also have Turbo Duckhead. How you doing, Turbo? Thank you very much for watching the show. English Weather. Good evening to you too. Appreciate you being here. And also Exile Viking. Good evening, my children. Hope you're all well. Same to yourself, Exile Viking. Appreciate you being here. We also have Rigor Mortis in the chat. How you doing, Rigor Mortis? Appreciate you being here as well. Let me see. Evola's sunglasses. Evening, everyone. Evening to you too. Appreciate you being here as well. Let me see here. Toby Radley. Good evening to you too, Toby. I appreciate you being here, sir. Let me see here. We also have Peter Walker, as per usual. Thank you very much for watching the show. Streaky Bacon, Chief Penny. Hope you're well, my good man. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I was out with PA Scotland last night. We'd had a St Andrew's dinner last night. It was a really good night. It's a lot of fun having. Of course, it wasn't like the whole members of PA Scotland, but it was like I think there was about maybe 14 or 15 of us that were there, which again was all good stuff. It's nice to see all of us just getting together for a meal and a drink, which is all really good stuff, of course. Last night I even had a steak pie with chips and pieces of carrots and peas. It was actually really nice. It's not like the cheap stuff you would get from like supermarkets or anything like that at all. It's like I would imagine it was homemade, but I'm not entirely too sure. But again, it was really good stuff nonetheless. Been meaning to have a steak pie for a while, but it's nice that I got that last night. It was all really good stuff. Let me see. Lord Moody's presence graces us. Thanks again, Exile Viking. Laddingtons. Even to you too, Docskin. Thank you very much for watching the show. Good evening, Jacob G4746. Appreciate you being here as well. Spiffy Acorn, appreciate you being here as well. Please like, yes, definitely. Thank you for pointing that out, Gamma Sandwich. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so already, folks. That would be much appreciated. It helps to get the show out there a lot more for more people to see, of course, with the algorithm and whatnot. So I would appreciate that if you guys could do that. So Corona, cold equals white people weather. I would agree to that, yeah, definitely. Let me see here. Oh, new person in the chat. The Duke of Bedford. Good evening, Chief. Good evening to you too, Duke of Bedford. Thank you very much for watching the show. I don't think I've seen you before, but if you're new here, I appreciate you being here, and hopefully you may stick around much longer. So please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. That, of course, if you want to, not trying to force you or anything like that at all. But appreciate you being here nonetheless. On your feet, sup, bro? Sup to you too. On your feet. Am I late? Am I in time? Yeah, you're pretty much in time with the show. I've not just started covering the topics or anything like that at all at the moment. We also have Kitchen Skillet. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Midlands covered. No snow in Dorset. Good evening to Woodlander. That's good to see. Oh, didn't mean to pop that up. Let's see. Mouse Cat, even to you too. Appreciate you being here as well. There's been snow in Scotland as early as October. Has there? Maybe it's like maybe up north. I would imagine they would get more snow there, but I don't know. There wasn't really any snow in my area during October, but again, it must be like maybe like a regional thing, I would imagine. So, let me see. Today is the first day of Advent. Excellent. Snowy weather is Pete Comfy. Ugly Truth, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you too. Ugly Truth, appreciate you being here. We also have Durham Fox, evening, everyone. And Chief, even to you too, Durham Fox. Let me see. Steve MM, good evening, all. Good evening to you too, Steve. Snow in November, that's global effing warming for you. Dear. Let's see. Gammon sandwich. I do hope the English channel gets nice and fewer snow for a few months. Yeah, we'll just need to wait and see, really. So, let me see here. I think that is me all up to date with the chat. So, sounds brilliant, Chief Midi, chilling with the Nationalists. Yeah, definitely from last night. It was really good stuff. Hopefully, we get to do that again before Christmas or after Christmas for Hogmanay, but we shall see. Felix Boru, evening to you too, Felix. Appreciate you being here as well. How are you doing, Chief? I am happy. I am in time for once. Yeah, I'm doing all right. On your feet. Appreciate the comment. Just doing the show as per usual. I'm just talking about my time with PA Scotland last night, and I was up in Edinburgh with some members of PA Scotland again as well. But no, it was really good stuff. Really good stuff. Let me see here. Budget burger, steak pie supper. I wouldn't say good stuff. Corbin Army. Hello, Corbin. Chief Marie, I heard you got doxed. Well, that Hope Not Hate article came out on Friday, I think it was, and yeah. I mean, the cat's out of the bag at this point, but yeah, I was doxed, so no point of really hiding it anymore. But yeah, that's it definitely did came out. Although even earlier on, Woodlander made a joke about that with the cowboy hat thing, so it was quite funny nonetheless. In fact, that actually brings me to a good point about that, about the article that came out. I really don't know what to say about that, folks. It was a quite an eye opener, I shall say. Want to see if I can get this up because I think, folks, ever since what happened, I definitely need your help. Very much so. If I want to bring something up that I think you guys can help me with in terms of like donations, if you will, it's something that who was it again? I think it was Mr. Macker. Yeah, Mr. Macker actually used this before. Let me see if I can actually get this up because I think it may be on. I'll try to live, hopefully. Yeah, see if I can get a tweet of his. Because I think I originally seen this on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. And that's not, damn it. Well, what I will say is there is a way to help me out in this dire situation. Again, like I said, it's something that Mr. Macker used a couple of years back. And it's something that's called KickFundMe. So because of the doxing that happened, I definitely need your fucking money. No, honestly, I'm only joking. Like, of course, sarcasm and whatnot. But yeah, yeah, it happened. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm still going to produce content, whether it be singular videos or live streams or even just that alone, but content creating, and I'll still will be activizing with PA. So I don't think there'll be anything changed after that. So I think it's just a case of, well, it happened, so yeah, it happened, and we'll just move on. So, and even if it was something that would have deeply hold on one second here. Corbin Army, mate, you should give this channel up. Now, no, you know what? Fuck you, Corbin Army. I'm not going to give it up. You know what? Yeah, it happened with the doxing and all of that. But you know what? As I said to everyone else with PA, I'm never going to stop. I think it's it's just such a very cowardly thing to do because it just kind of comes off as hope not hate. We're completely butthurt of what happened with the conference and whatnot. How we were just basically poking fun at them. Really, at this case. And yeah, the article came out, and the doxes were out there, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'll still advise with PA, and I'll still make content on a regular basis. So, if honestly, Corbin Army, and you better fucking listen to me when I say this, if you honestly think this is a case of me stopping from doing what I want to do, which is activize or even doing content creating because of what happened, you're sorely mistaken, mate. You are sorely fucking mistaken, mate. Honestly. And I love the little comment, mate. You should give this channel up. No, never. I'll never give up. I will continue to activize and making content on a regular basis. So there you go. And if you don't like that, then that's on you, mate. Not on me, but on you. So there you go. Anyway, continuing on from there, the best thing in London about the cold is it reduces jogging activities. Joggers hate cold. Yeah, fair enough. Dear. Even to you too, Jojo Gizmo. How are you doing? Just waiting for me for me dinner. I mean, just replying back to a message. No worry, Toby. No worries. Sending Hyperborean vibes. Excellent. Let's see. Why isn't it called the Dutch Channel? English claiming the seas again. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, Toby is. It's Hamish of Attacker. Ah, dear. Funny stuff. Hope not hate. Go on an epic rant about hate. Hope not hate. Honestly, you know what, Corona? There really isn't much to be said. I mean, I've said my piece with a couple of episodes ago with Thatcher after the conference, and I think I made that whole rant about Corbyn not too long ago on episode 43. So there's really nothing else to it. It's just the only thing I really can say is that yeah, it happened, and I'm not going to stop whatsoever. I'm just going to continue on moving forward after that. So yeah, there we go. So there, really nothing else to be said whatsoever regarding to that. So let me see here. News to me. I suppose you didn't do that then, right, Corbyn Army? Oh, I mean, let's see here. I read the H&H report and laughed like fuck, especially the insider story at the conference. It was really funny, to be honest, regarding to that whole segment, especially the part in the article where it claims that Laura pointed to her stomach and she says, well, what about this? I'm a pregnant woman. And it's like, she never said that, nor did she ever do that during the conference. And even if that were to happen, everyone would be talking about that during the conference, but she never did. That never happened. That's just a blatant lie whatsoever. Anyway, so the hat money, buy my hat. Let me see. Yes, rigor mortis. Good point. Doxing is just a demoralizing tactic, Moody, which itself is losing its effect. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Because I think a lot of people are coming out of the wood Just back on here. Oh, there we go. Right. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know what happened there. Let me see. There we go. I'm back. Let me see. Yeah, Snake. Snake! That's the old. What game series was that? I think it was Metal Gear Solid, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's me back, folks. So let's have a look here and see. I just want to see if I get back to the previous message and then move on from there. Okay, Corbin Army. I'm off. However, your channel is on the list. Fuck you all. Well, go fuck yourself, Corbin Army. Because again, I'll never surrender. I will never give up whatsoever. I'm doing nothing wrong. Nobody from PA is doing anything wrong. So, yeah. Anyway, let's have a look. And of course, I've responded to that. All cowards. The guy who did it couldn't say anything to my face. He had to slash him at midnight. Pathetic. What do you mean slash him at midnight? What the fuck are you talking about? No, honestly, Corbin, I'll tell you this right now. See, if I actually were to meet you in person or anything like that at all, I would honestly be telling it to your face of what I honestly think about that. So this whole idea that, yeah, you're dogs, but you wouldn't say any of this out in public, really? So how the fuck do you explain stuff like banner drops or leafleting or anything like that at all? I guarantee you, mate, if I were to come across someone like a leftist douchebag or anything like that at all, I would just tell them what I honestly think. Definitely. So what's this whole thing about, oh, well, you're just a coward, you only say this online? Well, just, yeah, keep telling that to yourself, Corbin. Keep fucking telling that to yourself, mate. Ah, dear. Let's have a look and see from here. Oh, yeah, so I think I'm all up to date with that. Just a message about from Corona. Woes' doxing was brutal. Front page of the Daily Record, calling him a Nazi, etc. Yeah, I did remember that. In fact, I think it was... my first exposure to that whole thing, I think it was Count Dankula that talked about it. And, he said in the video that he doesn't agree with Woes whatsoever, but he felt what happened during the whole doxing with Woes was absolutely disgusting. Even from what I heard about the whole case, it was absolutely disgusting nonetheless with that. So, but yeah, anyway, so. But it's nice. But of course, we all know that Woes is all right after that. So even though it still happened, but let's have a look here and see. Let's see. PM no need no heed. Well, I've said my point anyway, so let's have a look here. PA 14 Evening Patriots, even to you too, Daniel Archer. How you doing? 14 in chat for the dude that's. Oh, geez, I see. All right. Let me see here. Oh, is that what the reference was about? Well, I'll say this, right? If that's what the reference about slash the Corbin Army's tires. I don't know the whole thing with that, but I would condemn anybody who would do that to Corbin Army. I'll say that, right? I don't like you, Corbin Army. I think you're a fucking douchebag. But even then, I think what happened to the tires thing, that's fucked up beyond belief. I don't think people should vandalize your property or anything like that at all. That's, I would definitely absolutely condemn something like that. So, but that's just me, of course, regarding to that. So, let's have a look here. 14's in the chat. That's good to see. Yes, that part especially, Chief Moody. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I better get on with the show because I'm pretty much just talking to you guys all the time. So, they had no one inside the event. Hope not hate indeed. Yep, 90% of people who read the Hope Not Hate article are our guys anyway. Yeah, and that's what I've been hearing from everyone else anyway. Like nobody really reads the article itself anyway, so that's fine with that. Never Surrender Chief 14. That's where it gets to the whole muted thing with that, but it's fine. So I'm back. Let me see here. RIP, rest in peace. Yeah. It was Metal Gear. I thought it was Metal Gear. Right, that's fine. That's all right. All right. Yesterday's news. Bye. Corbin was fine. Oh, he's gone. What a pity. Test. Chad Chief Moody. Thanks very much, Kurt. Really appreciate that. Let me see here. Right. That's fine. Sounds like the world's worst heckler. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's only but property Moody. Yeah. Ah, dear. It's okay, Chief. Communists are not people with morals or values. Anyway, so let's move on from there. Well, let's continue on where I last left off with part one. Now, of course, tonight's episode is part two. I'm going to be trying to finish off the stuff I talked about on Thursday's episode. So let's have a look and see with that. Now, there is one thing to finish off with this segment about the whole Kyle Rittenhouse murder is I'm going to be reacting to a video by a show called The Real. Now, I did see someone, Actual Justice Warrior, I think his name is, covering this video before, and I'm not gonna like view the entirety of the video, but I'll maybe like cover some parts of it and all of that. So, it's a show that features a lot of women. So think of it as like the third or fourth version of the View, or what's the British equivalent of the View over here? I think it's what's it called, Loose Women or something like that. So basically, you have a panelist of women talking about women stuff and all that, of course. So it's like that. But let me see if I can get the video up here and ready, just so we can have a look at that together. Right. This is the top one here. Let's have a look at that. See from there. This one. Yeah, this is the one. I'll pause it also real quick so it doesn't. God damn it, every single time. Yeah, so that's it there. I'll just share the screen real quick. Get back to that just now and see with their gossiping. Oh dear. Oh dear. Monster98, how you doing? Next week they're trying to push mask wearing once again. Yeah, especially with this whole new variant that's been coming out. I think they're saying it's coming from South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. No surprise there, but I think it's meant to be called like Omicron or something like that, which a lot of people have seen that it's an anagram for moronic, which quite speaks a lot of volumes regarding to that. So, oh God, please no, Chief, please don't do that to us. Look, I'm sorry on your feet, but if I'm going to suffer, you guys need to suffer with me before during the show regarding to that. So, but like I said, we're not going to touch upon all of the video, but we're just going to maybe talk about some things, here and there about it. Sounds like the latest Transformers movie. Ah, dear. Let me see here. Right, I got it just now on the screen here. Just want to make sure. I think I got it here. Have I? Yeah, I should have. Let me just double. I just want to make sure. I have to check it through my phone. Let me see. Respond back to no chance in a couple of minutes. Let me see here. Sorry, folks. Just want to make sure. Yeah, it's right. That's fine. Perfect. Who the hell is Steve Jobs? It's a guy from Apple, or no, I don't know if maybe it's someone completely different, but anyway. So I'll just full screen here, and we'll just be set to watching the video here. 6 minutes and 51 seconds long, so just under 7 minutes, of course. But anyway, let's check it out. 3, 2, 1.
We're gonna dive right into some girl chat because we have some things to discuss, beginning with the case that has captivated national headlines.
Ooh.
According to CNN, that's why Lonnie was looking like that, okay? She's got some serious things to discuss. According to CNN, jury deliberations have started in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, the 18-year-old from Illinois who faces homicide charges after killing 2 people and wounding another at a protest last year. Check out this video of Kyle about a week ago crying as he testifies.
Oh, Lord.
Kyle, who was underage at the time, claims he acted in self-defense, while the prosecution alleges he contributed to the dangerous situation and had opportunities to flee before using fatal force.
Yeah, well, let's just get to this point real quick. So there's video footage of this out there of what happened, but basically we all know what happened. Kyle Rittenhouse went there to protect a certain area, obviously because of the rioters that happened. there were some attacks that happened. He did flee because there was a mob of rioters that tried to get after him, including the following people: Joseph Rosenbaum, Huber. I think I should know the name. Is it Anthony Huber? If I'm not mistaken, I might have that name completely wrong. And there was a third gentleman, Grosskreuz, I think the name of the person. But anyway, he did try to flee away, but it got too much. A lot of people were catching up to him, including the gentleman in question. And that's when, without any other choices to make, he decided to defend himself by shooting at the gentleman in question, because again, it was his right to do so, because they were attacking Kyle Rittenhouse, and he had every right to defend himself. Again, all part of the Second Amendment with the U.S. Constitution. And it's something that kind of annoys me as well here in Britain whenever this topic gets brought up. They always talk about how, it's so disgusting, and how you can basically just use a gun anywhere in America. It's like, right, first of all, you have no idea how the U.S. Constitution works, especially when it comes to the First and Second Amendment. Second of all, when it comes to the American culture, especially with guns, it's part of their culture. Like, it's part of their whole freedom to bear arms, freedom to own a firearm with that, because again, it's all part of the American culture. So, and another thing too, with regard to that whole thing, is that I always love it how whenever it's okay for us to talk about stuff that's going on in America, especially this entire case, but then if it's the other way around, it's like, they should just stay out of it. It's none of their business whatsoever what happens over here. It's like, okay, then why doesn't the same logic applies with us talking about American politics? But I guess rules for thee but not for me argument, I guess. But anyway, moving on from there.
Ladies, what's your take on this whole situation? There's so many updates coming in.
Yeah, it's a lot of updates happening. For me, I think that it's about the ideology, and that's what we should be concerned with as a country. Because if this child gets off, which it looks like because of the things that's happening that he will probably get off, it really does.
No, hold on. It's not the case of he got off. It's a case of he was found innocent because of evidence that was provided from both sides, both the defendants and also the prosecution side of things. So what's this whole thing? And also during the prosecution, whenever they questioned the people who were involved, like witnesses and whatnot, and recounted their experiences of what happened that night, that plays a factor to it. There was even some people. I think there was a guy that they questioned, like I think it was the defendants that questioned someone who was part of the rioting that happened, and the guy who was part of it basically just confessed of what truly happened, and it's like, well, that plays a factor to it. So this whole idea that he just got off, no, he was found completely innocent by all 5 accounts of the verdict.
Has hurt us with protests. What we want in this country and what we are allowed are peaceful protests.
Yes.
That's what we want.
Oh, the audacity of this. Okay, let's just remind ourselves of what happened during the riots in Minnesota, because at the end of the day, I'm sick and tired of people always making a point about, it was peaceful riots, and of course it's something that all of us make fun of regarding to that. At the end of the day, they were not peaceful protests; they were riots. Okay, if you, it's such a complete or utter bullshit, because you can clearly see that during what happened in Minnesota, they were clear as day riots. I mean, you could never ever try and tell me, even all these news sites like CNN and whatnot, desperately trying to make it out as if it was peaceful protests. Meanwhile, there's like fires going on in the background, property damage here and there, people that were injured and killed, and I think there were a few rapes that happened during those riots. So it wasn't a peaceful protest. It was definitely a riot that happened, and of course, massive damage all across the state of Minnesota. Well, not just Minnesota. I think there's been other places in America as well that's been affected by it as well. So it's complete bullshit that like they were not peaceful protests. Like, don't fucking kick me on with that bullshit.
Right.
If we don't agree with everything, fine. Let's have a protest. Let's have a peaceful protest. But we need to punish people that think that they can cross state lines, have an AR-15, and shoot people. That is the bottom line.
No, that's not the bottom line here. Because first of all, Kyle Rittenhouse had every right to cross over that state line because again, he's an American citizen. He was born and raised in America. He had every right to cross a state line, whether it be going to Wisconsin or any state line for that matter, because again, he's an American citizen and whatnot. And just by the way, I think I might have made this point before in the previous episode, but I love these open border types, how they talk about, oh, we need open borders for like for the country, have all these migrants coming in. But then as soon as this whole Kyle Rittenhouse case came to be, all of a sudden, their whole narrative of open borders instantly changes, doesn't it? It's like it's a complete 180. Like, oh, how dare he cross state lines? He's not allowed to do that. What a fucking monster! It's like, oh, I see. So it's a different rule when Kyle Rittenhouse does it, but again a completely different rule when it comes to say migrants or anyone like that coming into the country. You can't make this up. It's an absolute fucking joke.
From me that I don't care if he's talking about self-defense. Your intent was to come. When you have an AR-15, do you know how dangerous that
At 17
AR-15
years old.
Again, let's just go back to the Second Amendment. Now, again, I'm not an American. You know, I was never born in America, and I didn't come from America, obviously. So, of course, myself, of course, I know there may be some American viewers watching the show at the moment, but and maybe they can also correct me on this because I know I might get this wrong. But from what I know about the American Constitution, especially the Second Amendment, in terms of the right to bear arms, you, as an American, you have the right to bear arms, to own and to purchase and own a firearm. Of course, anything like a handgun or like an assault rifle. I don't know if maybe that might be the right term for it, assault rifle, but anything like that at all. Basically, you have a right to bear arms and a right to purchase and own a firearm. So mainly in a case of self-defense, because of course you want to defend yourself from looters or thieves or anyone like that at all from stealing anything from you, whether it be your private property, whether it be if you're working at a store or anything like that at all, because again, you have every right to defend yourself. So, and again, it's such a blatant lie what they're saying here, that the only reason he went to Wisconsin in that area was so that he can go and shoot people. That's just such a blatant lie. And again, there's evidence to back up the claim that he went there because he wanted to protect that area from the riots that were going on. Because again, he and people that were with him that night, they had every right to do that. It's part of their Second Amendment, possibly part of their First Amendment right. And as an American citizens, it's their every right to do so. So what seems to be the issue here? Oh, that's right, because it's a white guy shooting a couple of Jewish kids, then oh no, that must be wrong. And of course, the riots that happened because most of the rioters wore black, so that's obviously like a big no-no. Like, how dare Kyle Rittenhouse do that? It's the amount of audacity coming from the lies from these people is astounding to me. But even then, even just like, because I watched this episode, well, not episode, but this segment earlier on in the week, just for like research purposes. And is it just me, or is anyone who's watching the show at the moment kind of gets the impression from all four of these panelists that it seems like they really have no idea what they're talking about with this whole Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, but instead it kind of comes off as if like they're reading off like what's being read to them, like from a cue card or something like that at all. But it just kind of comes off as like scripted instead of being like a like here's all the facts of what happened during the verdict and the overall case. But anyway,
At
17 years old, and also his mother drove him there.
Yes.
And it's not like she didn't know he had a weapon. You can't hide that weapon under your
Is she
shirt.
being charged as well?
No.
I wonder why not. Why not? She took a minor knowing that he had a rifle with him.
An unregistered
assault rifle.
Yes, exactly.
Why is she not being charged?
Well, hopefully that it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fair trial.
No, it's not.
The fact that the jury is not sequestered, they can leave and find out all kinds of information.
Yep.
The fact that, you know, I don't believe him when he was crying. If you really look at the tape, he's looking over to see if the jury's looking at him. It just felt a little dramatic for me, and I understand if I was on trial, I'd be.
oh fuck you! Like this, see, it's not just this Ben who's been saying this, but a lot of people on the left who've been making this claim about, oh, that's not trauma. What Kyle Rittenhouse is going through, those are just crocodile tears. Like, first of all, fuck you for making that point, and second of all, what you saw during that whole clip, that's real trauma. You know, that not some fucking pretentious little douchebag who cries and makes a point about, oh, I'm triggered, I'm traumatized, I'm suffering from PTSD because nobody says my correct gender to me. How dare they? Ugh. No, what you saw in that clip with Kyle Rittenhouse going through like a bit of a panic attack and crying his heart out. Sorry, that's trauma. Like, that's clearly a kid who's going through real unadulterated trauma, and it's absolutely disgusting hearing these people sort of downplaying that. But if it's the opposite around, if it's like a leftist talking about someone misgendered me, I have PTSD now, meh. It's an absolute fucking joke, and it's no wonder why people never take PTSD seriously anymore. And I mean true proper PTSD. It's because of fucking douchebags like this. Absolutely sickening, fucking vile.
Be crying too,
With
but
real
it just
tears,
feels
though.
like he felt almost like a vigilante. You know, the fact that he showed up, he was a cadet. If you look at his social media, he has a lot of like Blue Lives Matter and, you know, a lot of, you know, police support,
Well,
which is okay.
$3 million were donated to his defense fund.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's definitely some type
And I believe Ricky Schroeder was one of them.
Yes.
Yes.
And not
yes.
to mention, just to touch on that video footage too, I think it's interesting that you're watching his video footage today on how he's defending himself. But when you watch the video footage of him marching through those streets carrying a rifle,
He was strong.
looking like a one-man army looking to take down people.
Yeah.
That is not the face of somebody who's remorseful.
Again, such utter bullshit. He never went there to cause any harm or anything like that. He was there to defend a certain area. That's the whole purpose of why he went there, and he had every right to do that. Like, imagine if this was like the opposite way around. See if it was like, I don't know, George Floyd or I'm trying to think of like other names as examples, just like as a hypothetical type of situation, or Trayvon Martin or anything like that at all. If it was one of them that did the same thing what Kyle Rittenhouse did, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, what an absolute hero! Like he had every right to be there. Like, of course, they should not be looked at as guilty." But suddenly, when it's Kyle Rittenhouse doing that and only going there just to protect an area, to protect a certain area, because again, he would have every right to do that, then all of a sudden he's the bad guy. But it's we all know the reason why that is, because it's all part of this whole anti-white rhetoric that's going on just now. But now it's just they're being so blatant about it. It's no longer subtle anymore at this point. But
And had to defend themselves.
Exactly.
Guys, let's just keep it real. Things are handled differently in
When
this country
you're
when you're white. And this is just the realities, and we have to have these conversations because this is the reality of what we are facing.
Right.
He currently is being able to choose his own jury, which I've never heard of.
I've never heard of.
In history, I've never heard of such a thing.
Ever.
right, I'm not an expert on law or like courts or anything like that at all. I've never been through a court hearing or anything like that at all. Now, I don't know if it's maybe different from Britain or in America or anything like that at all, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that the someone like Kyle Rittenhouse in that position when it comes to like any court hearings, I highly doubt they get to pick and choose which members of the jury they can pick to choose from, or members of the public or anything like that to be part of the jury. Highly doubt that. So I don't know where the hell they're getting this from. And plus, this whole idea that the law works differently when it comes to white people and how they're treated within the law. Really, so how the hell do you explain stuff like Black Lives Matter or anything like that at all, where you have every single corporate entity, any global corporation that helps support Black Lives Matter or anything like that at all? How the hell do you explain some cases I've noticed in the past where if you're black, you get a less harsher sentence, or if you're not just black, if you're non-white, you get a less harsher sentence. But if you're white, you get a much harsher sentence depending on what crime you do. It's such blatant lies. And the reason why, again, just to make a point real quick, when it comes to law, and also say, for this context, maybe black people, why you'd hear or most deaths occur when it comes to like black people within police officers is mainly because, of course, look, some cases with that, the police officers shouldn't gun down, like black people. There have been cases where the police have went over the line when it comes to dealing with certain cases. However, that being said, there definitely have been some cases where the shootings, the police shooting the black offenders, have been justified because the black offenders most of the time would have a firearm on them and they were trying to shoot the police officers. So at that point, the police have a right to gun down the suspect. Again, it's all part of the American judicial system. Again, I know that it might work a bit differently from state to state. Again, my American viewers, please feel free to comment in the chat to correct me on that, because again, I'm not claiming to be an expert on that in any way, shape, or form. But again, it's just to make points about that. Again, it's ridiculous, the points being brought up during this case. But for what the panelists here are saying, of course.
And it's frustrating. It angers me. It makes me so angry that someone could just walk into a place and say, well, I was defending myself with, like you said, a gun that wasn't licensed. How does even the possibility of you saying it looks like he may get off infuriates me.
And because of the self-defense issues, the judge is saying that the people who have died cannot be called victims. If they're not victims, then what are they?
Well, he says they could be called looters or rioters if they're talking about the situation.
Yeah, and of course they're saying that race can't come into the situation. People are saying because the victims were white. Well, they were white people that were allies to the Black Lives Matter movement. And that does make a difference. And in my opinion, it's not that it's a race issue there, quote unquote, but people are actually, I think it's a bigger issue of how he's being treated. He's
really
being treated based on his race.
But it's about politics and ideology. And if you just, like I said, scrape it down to the bare basics. It's about the fact that we should be able to peacefully protest. If this guy gets off, which it looks like it is, then people will go around shooting people in the streets, and that is my fear.
No, people can't.
That's the problem.
People can't, because I know
This is such fucking bullshit. No, this whole thing with the whole Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. First of all, he never should have been arrested or being thrown to the wolves with this whole court case to begin with. The whole reason why this happened is because Kyle Rittenhouse is a white boy and he's being thrown to the wolves, the wolves being the anti-white establishment. This whole narrative about like white people get everything, like off like easily and all of that, such bullshit, especially now at this day and age. If you're white, you're basically looked at as the enemy at this point. Look at the stuff what we're seeing with critical race theory, which is going on in our schools. Look at the stuff we see in the media when it comes to TV shows or films or advertisements or anything like that at all. Look at the stuff that's being just public figures like these panelists right here are spewing on a daily basis. There is clearly an anti-white agenda that's being forced down people's throats, especially all across the continent of Europe and Western countries. You'll never ever see anything like that and say in Asian countries, in like countries like India or Japan or anything like that at all. Most of this rhetoric that's going on just now about the anti-white narrative is how the deconstruction of British culture or American culture or anything like that at all, the deconstruction of our history and all of that, most of that stuff is being played all across countries like here in Britain, America, all across Europe. So, again, just going back to what I've said before about George Floyd, even like a year later, people still view him as a fucking saint. I mean, for fuck's sake, he has a police record where he pointed a gun at a pregnant woman's stomach. But no, let's just sweep that under the rug because we need to view him as a fucking saint. And even then, he was never murdered by Derek Chauvin. He died of a fucking fentanyl drug overdose. It is there with his fucking death record. It's all there for people to see. But no, again, let's just sweep that under the rug because he's a saint and he was murdered by the white supremacist movement or the white supremacist system we're living in just now. It's complete, utter insanity we're living in just now. Complete, utter clown world. And I don't know if we're coming towards the part of the video, but there's a part here that I thought was quite funny. What this woman here makes a point about, and I don't know if she makes a point here, but we'll just continue on and we'll see from there. So
Certainly couldn't do that and get away with it. I'm sorry to say.
oh yeah, sorry, and also just one quick point about this whole case. Carl Rittenhouse was innocent. We all know this, right? And the point that the people like these panelists or any other leftists out there, like Cenk Uygur and all of that, all these people make the point about, oh, this just opens the door that anyone could just carry a gun and shoot people. No, the whole point of why this was important for a lot of people, not just Carl Rittenhouse, but not only Carl Rittenhouse was thankfully and justifiably so looked at as innocent by the jury of the court. But basically this says that yes, you as an American have a right to bear arms and a right to continue on to defend yourself, defending your family, defending your private property, anything like that. You have that right to continue on to defend yourself, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's what it was about, and this whole thing about what they're saying here. I mean, of course, I know that they'll never feel a sense of shame, but to me, this just comes off as incredibly shameful of the stuff they're promoting here. But anyway, just thought I would make that point real quick and then continue on from there, of course. So,
Lonnie, I don't think you could just roll up at a protest and shoot people and get away with it. There's
No way.
As we're doing the protest.
That's what I'm saying.
No way.
It's unheard of. This is not normal, and
Yeah.
it's just infuriating, and we need change. There's also people right now claiming that they believe the judge has a racist past. He made a comment, I guess, when ordering food.
He seems biased already.
Yeah,
This is a problem.
And then the issue is the people who make the final decision are the jurors. And
Right.
at this very moment, even though Kyle did get an opportunity to draw his jury,
Yes,
which
he
has
did.
never happened in history.
Never.
People are
Right.
bewildered at why this is happening.
Yeah.
And yes, they are limited now, but still, why was that given? His jurors right now stand 11 white jurors and 1 person of color. In the case of Ahmaud Arbery was the same thing, 11 white jurors, 1 person of color.
Yeah.
So we also have to figure out what is wrong with this representation
Yeah.
in
We
the
need
jury
equal
system.
representation.
Because
Right.
you do have to be a registered voter. There are certain things that have to take place there. But then we know we've sat on this show and talked about voter suppression and how many long lines
Right.
for people of color to actually get into the booths and just vote to be considered,
Yeah.
to be able to make it to be
Yeah.
qualified
But-
as a juror.
oh my fucking god, this bullshit narrative, like, oh, minorities get so hard. No, that's just such blatant bullshit. Look at what we're seeing today, as I mentioned, with our education system, with our media, anything to do that's been pushed down upon us, like the indigenous people of these islands. In fact, even just look at the field of work. I mean, there are places like places like major companies. If you're somebody, if you're a minority, if you're non-white, and especially if you're like a woman, they would love someone like you to work for their company, regardless if you're qualified for the job or not. again, it's all about pushing this anti-white agenda. So again, what these women on this panel are saying at the moment are just complete, utter lies, absolute shameful lies regarding to that.
Also,
You know what I mean?
I want people to be part of the system. You know, last year when we were talking about voting, we were saying not voting not just for a president and a vice president. We're
Right.
talking about these judges, these type of judges that when cases like this happen, they're not being fair. They're being very impartial
Biased.
to the defendant. And so that's why
Yes.
I'm like, you know, this is the reason why we say on this show, have your kids go to school. Be part of the system so that maybe in 20 years they can be a judge, that they can, you know, we have to be a part of this country. We're going to be in this country. We also have to be part of the systems
Yeah.
so that we can help change this,
Be
this,
a part
this
of the
whole
systems.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Well said.
Oh my god, that was just pure utter cancer. Anyway, let's just move on from there. But there you have it. Just want to make sure. Yes, pause. That's fine. I don't think I need to play it anymore. But anyway, why are we watching these anti-white, understanding, kind and beautiful? These types of judges ain't deciding how we want it. We's play. Well, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Like, they throw a massive hissy fit whenever it doesn't go or the favor doesn't go their way. That's what it goes down to. It's beyond the joke. It really is beyond the joke. But oh man. Anyway, so. Oh, another familiar face, Earthling Carl. 30 seconds of this crap and I feel suicidal. Thank you very much for watching the show, Earthling Carl. I appreciate you being here. Do they not understand what a jury of peers means? Well, I guess not. I mean, like I said, it all just goes down to the fact that if they don't get what they want, then they'll throw a hissy fit. They'll start possibly false flagging. They'll start doxing the people in question. You know, they'll do anything they can to. Hold on a sec. Most women on that show have white husband. Not even joking. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. So, again, it's not like we could take anything they say seriously. But let me see here. On your feet, they all just conveniently forget the guy who got shot in the arm was charging Rittenhouse with a sidearm from the back. Chief, will you please read? Well, yeah, again, but another point to make about that is that Kyle did flee from like an angry mob of people who were chasing after him. Of course, they completely forget about that because I guess that doesn't suit their narrative, does it? So. But Moody Chauvin was white, therefore murder. Oh dear. Look at that face. Yeah, I know, right? Happy to take for us and just bitch the sake of it. Oh dear. So. Yeah, exactly, Woodlander. Jesus, they are just stupid. They're so stupid. Especially the one lassie there who was just like, how? It's like, oh God Almighty, just a screeching of that. Unbelievable. Anyway, let me see what to do next. I guess that really just that wraps. Oh no, actually no. That brings up one point that I was also going to mention, and that is the Tucker Carlson interview. That's right, because that came out just last week, I think. Iron Spear, Chief Moody, you need a Mosaic, Labrador. He's an American gun owner. Fair enough, yeah. Lol, dimwits don't understand the concept of jury prejudice. Exactly. Such fake outrage. Not one of the joggers actually give a shit beyond their next manicure. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? This just kind of comes off as just virtue signaling. They really don't seem to give a shit about the case or anything like that at all. Like I said earlier on, this just comes off as that they don't really know what to talk about during the whole thing, and they're just reading off cue cards of what exactly to read out for the show, and that's it. So. Let me see here. I am one of the husbands. repatriation. Now let's see. Give them a tire and a rope and oh god, and they'll shut up. Let's imagine the horror in 20 years. All these months ruin the courts. Well, let me see. Shit like this makes me question my ancestors' decision to revolt against Britain. Yeah, well, I can understand that. They're literally saying, let blacks on so we can get that kid sent to prison. Yeah, that's definitely what it comes off as, but Wakanda. This is not going to end well. It's a question of when, not if. Yeah, exactly, Donald Fox, exactly. So, let's be up to date with the chat. Finally, from Docskin, what they're doing is rounding the horses. They want people to see this as a failure of justice instead of questioning the ideas of the case. Exactly. That's really what it comes down to as. Let me see if I can... sorry, Chief Media said some nasty things in the chat on your feet. Let me see if I can find the Tucker Carlson interview with that, and then go on from there. Because of course, this again was like after the whole case that happened, and I don't know if I might get the full clip, but message to Biden: couldn't shower for nearly 3 weeks in jail, making his skin bleed. Let's see. It tells his future. Yeah, let's go over this one right here. Case has nothing. It would be this one actually, yeah. And now quickly pause it. Please don't play. That's fine. Okay, cool. So we'll just finish off this entire topic with Kyle Rittenhouse with this part here. And I'll see if I can share the screen real quick again. And we'll just have a look at this video. So this was from the interview.
I do want to
Tucker
start
Carlson.
off with the latest and all reaction, really, to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, exclusively from Rittenhouse himself. He and his mother spoke exclusively to Fox News this weekend after the not guilty verdict was delivered on Friday by a Wisconsin jury. Fox News correspondent Mike Tobin has more on that from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Let's take a listen.
Should play that.
What happened?
Here we go. Right.
I tell everybody there what happened. I said I had to do it. I was just attacked. I was dizzy. I was vomiting. I couldn't breathe.
Kyle Rittenhouse opening up for the first time after being acquitted of all charges, telling Fox News' Tucker Carlson in an exclusive interview about how the verdict brought both relief and vindication.
This case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense.
Right.
I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. And I believe there needs to be change.
Rittenhouse had been on trial.
Yeah, so I did see that. Must have been, when was this posted? I'm pretty sure it was last week from what I remember. 22nd. Let me just double check that. 22nd. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, well, it was during this week, like this Monday, right? Yeah, I wasn't. I can understand that the point he made, that it definitely was partly was to do with self defense. I definitely get that point. What I don't agree with him with is the fact that this has nothing to do with race. No, Kyle, it definitely does have everything to do with race. The reason why you were arrested to begin with, I mean, it wasn't because you like committed self-defense, although the prosecutors tried to make a point that he had no right for self-defense, but we all know he had every right to defend himself during that whole thing what happened in Wisconsin. But the thing that I don't agree with him on is, of course, that it has everything to do with race. I mean, he was a white boy. He was mainly targeted towards that because he shot and killed two convicted criminals who've done horrendous things in the past, such as child molestation and also women bashing and all of that. It's of course when it comes to domestic violence, and of course, what was the common factor with those two men, and I use that term loosely, who were shot and killed, they were Jewish. And I think that does have a factor into this whole case regarding to what happened to Kyle Rittenhouse. And I'm sorry, but the whole point of him saying, "Oh, I'm not a racist person. I support BLM," like Kyle, just why? Like why? Some people in the past have said to me that he may have said that to save face, but I don't know, man. I think if I was Kyle Rittenhouse and I was put through that situation, put through the ringer, put through like being thrown to the wolves like that, I think that should have been like a clear red flag for me that something was not right here. Something more sinister was at play here, that sort of idea. But maybe it was to save face, but I don't know. It's just, to me, I don't think he really should have said that whatsoever. But anyway.
For shooting 3 men, killing 2 during violent protests last summer in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The jury ultimately agreeing with the defense's argument that Rittenhouse was defending himself after being attacked by protesters. This round of protests thus far has been small and peaceful. In Portland, demonstrations flared to the point where police called them a riot. Mostly what we saw were marches in places like Chicago and Minneapolis. Demonstrators complained that the verdict will encourage vigilantism. The family knows not everyone believes justice was served.
It's not about winning or losing. There was 2 people that did passed away, and families have to grieve.
Here in Kenosha, citizens and business owners hope the worst is over and they can move on. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
There we are.
We do know that full interview.
I think well, that's pretty much that with the video. So, but yeah, I think for me I think that would conclude the whole topic of the whole Kyle Rittenhouse verdict to begin with. So, let me see here. It's just about 15 minutes to go till the show ends. So, I did see earlier on I was going to talk about what happened in Waukesha in Wisconsin during this week. I don't know if I might want to talk about that just now, or maybe wait until episode 47. Anyway, no, I think, folks, what I'll do is I'll just save that for the next episode, episode 47, and then I'll talk about it from there, and then of course move on to something else after that. So. So wait, his mom looks like a bit like a psychic midget from the film Poltergeist. I know the actress you're referring to. I definitely know who you're on about, but well, that's quite funny, mouse cat. So, but yeah, I think maybe to the guy from the I think. If you guys want, maybe for the last 15 minutes, well, I would say maybe, 15 minutes, of course. If you guys have any questions to ask me, just feel free to ask just now, and then we'll end the show at 7:30. So, thank you, Corona, for pointing that out. That was something I was also going to mention later on. But yes, PA Book Club is starting at 15 minutes as well. So, hold on 1 second. I'll read the comments regarding to that. So, PA Book Club started 50 minutes. Wait, did it? Hold on 1 sec. When is it? They started. Wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, they're live. Oh, okay then. Oh, that's right. I guess they thought I would be starting at 5 than the usual. Damn it! Right. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll read out some questions and then I'll end the show, and you guys can jump over to the PA Book Club and then enjoy the show from there. Let me see. A couple of questions came in already. One from Rory Herbert. Chief Moody, would you like to comment on the recent H&H doxing? I think I've already done that earlier on in the show. I think Woodlander brought that up with the cowboy hat thing. And I think, of course, Corbin Army, I know, brought that up earlier on. But honestly, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, we all know that doxing, I don't give a damn who does the doxing. The doxing in general is an absolute scumbaggy thing to do. And I think anyone who does it to anyone you know, they should be condemned, you know, obviously, because I think it's a complete immoral thing to do with that. And I honestly don't give a damn who does it. If you're somebody who doxes someone, you're a fucking scumbag. But that being said, isn't doxing illegal? Well, I think so. I'm not entirely too sure because I'm not an expert on law, but I mean, the whole point of, I would imagine so it would be illegal because again, the whole point of doxing is basically to try and target someone. You know, the whole point of doxing somebody is that you know who they are, and you don't want to come out and say, "Oh, do this to this person," but we know who they are. So if you see them, you know, we're not saying we want this to happen, but we all know the whole intent behind it is malicious intent regarding to that. So, and to be honest with you, with that, as I said earlier on in the show, it happened. I know it wasn't just myself that was doxxed. I know there were a few other people that were doxxed as well. I think Euro from Tassob was doxxed. I think Horace was doxxed as well, from what I've heard. The only thing I will say to that is that, you know, yeah, it happened. It was horrible. Hope Not Hate are complete utter scumbags for doing that. And at the end of the day, we should never give up after that. I mean, hell, I'm not, as I said earlier on, I'm not giving up. I know fucking Corbyn Army, or let's be honest, let's call him Corbyn Shagger. I know he said earlier on that, well, oh, you should just give the channel up now. You know, that is basically over for you and all of that. It's like, you know what, mate, fuck you. I will never give up because at the end of the day, my people's existence is non-negotiable. It never has been, and it never fucking will be. I care too much about my people, my country, and the future of the country regarding to that in terms of demographics, and all of that. So, and for them to try and make this like some kind of intimidation tactic, like, oh, this must be the end for these content creators or members of PA in general. No, it definitely will not, because at the end of the day, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just spreading the message about the indigenous people of these islands have a right to exist and a right to self-determination. You got them worried, Chief. Well, to be honest with you, I even said this to some members of PA, you know, like a week ago. Even if I were to be doxxed one day, which of course we all know that did happen, but even if I were to be doxxed, I'll still continue on doing what I'm doing. I'll still activize with PA, and I'll still produce content. Which I guess now that I am doxxed, I guess it opened the door for single videos, because there's tons of ideas I really want to do besides producing episodes for Mood of the Nation. So I guess you could say it's a bit of a benefit regarding to that. So, but again, we'll just need to wait and see in the future. But yeah, I'll never stop. The only way how I can ever be stopped regarding to that is that if I were to die and be buried underneath the ground, that's it. Other than that, I will never be silenced. I will never be stopped. I'll continue on doing what I'm doing, and that's not saying towards me, by the way. That same goes for everyone who's watching in the chat, who's an activist for PA, or even as a content creator for PA. You should never give up what you're doing. You need to continue on and be strong, and just continue on doing what you're doing, because again, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just making a point that our people have a right to exist and a right to self-determination. What the fuck is so wrong with that? It's a serious question. What's so wrong with that? What is wrong of the idea of wanting your country's people to remain as the majority of your homeland? So for me, for example, and I've said this point many times before, but say like here in Scotland or even across the UK, with the people of Britain, I want the British public to remain as the majority of the country. I'm not asking for a white ethno state or anything like that at all. I mean, a small handful of immigrants is okay, but they're not my people. My people come first, and at the end of the day, I want my people to remain as the majority of these homelands. Same thing. It's the same point Indians would make when it comes to India. Same point that would be made if the Japanese were to say about Japan and any other country for that matter. Because again, what the fuck is so wrong with that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Exile Viking doxing is for incels and other low-ranking scumbags. Doing so makes them feel important in their insignificant existence. Exactly. They only go for you because you're a threat to them. Well, that's exactly it. This is it's an intimidation tactic, isn't it, Guy Fawkes? And also, thank you very much for watching the show. It's basically their way of saying, shit, he's growing a lot of attention. He's gaining a lot of support with that. Let's try and dox him because we think that might try and silence them. Well, guess what? I hope not hate if you're watching. If fire back in your fucking face, didn't it? I don't give a fuck if you dox me or not. As I said, I'll still continue on what I'm doing, and the only way I could be stopped is if I'm dead and buried underneath the fucking ground. So there you go. So, but anyway, sorry, I think there was another question, and hopefully that may answer your question, Rory Herbert. Maybe a long answer, but let me see here. Chief, can you drop me a link to the PA stream for later? Yeah, I'll definitely do that for you, my man. I'll definitely do that for you. I think a lot of people are leaving the show anyway because they want to check out the PA Book Club episode. So let me see here. Let me see. Just want to make sure. I don't care if you're ugly, Chief, or ginger. Thanks, Toby. I appreciate the comments. So. I think you look great, Chief Maria. Well, thank you, Kitchen Skillet. But honestly, when I saw that image of myself, I was fucking mortified. I'm like, oh Jesus! I kind of looked like the image they picked. It made me look like I was like a poor man's John Wayne, or I think who was it that said it in PA Scotland? I can't remember who exactly, but. They called me when that image came out, they called me the far right Indiana Jones, which I thought was quite funny. So, but anyway, yeah. So a lot of people typing in one for the chat, for myself, which again, really appreciate that, guys. Really do appreciate that. Let's keep this going. No books allowed. I like the mystery. Let me see. So, wait, is Meme Payment in the chat? Wait a minute. Hold on. Please be in the chat because let me see here. I don't know if he is, but oh well, maybe next time, but we'll see. Moody, where do you think the nationalist movement will be in 20 years? Doskin, that is a really good question. Ugly truth, Jock Wayne. Ah dear. But no, Doskin, to answer your question, to be honest with you, I'm not entirely too sure because look, at the end of the day, nobody knows what the future holds for all of us with this movement. But no, I was saying it was him who called you Indiana Jones. Oh, I see, it was him, right? Fair enough. Okay, never mind. Never mind, Karen. Thank you for the correction with that. So, but in terms of what I think would happen with the nationalist movement in 20 years. To be honest with you, look, at the end of the day, I'll only speak when it comes to Patriot Alternative. We're becoming a much bigger, more stronger group over time. Like more and more people are joining PA by the day, and all these articles that keep coming out about PA, it's just basically free publicity. So, I think if the trends continue the way they are for us. I think it's going to get a lot better. I think more and more people are going to wake up and smell the bullshit that's going on, and I think we're going to gain a lot more support because of that. So, again, but that's only if we continue the way things are. So, but hopefully that may answer your question regarding to that. So, let me see. 1 second. Why did the report talk about Ginger Chris in such glowing terms? They basically said it was a massive quote for PA to get him. They even shelled INN2. I never read that part of the article, but that's really interesting that with that part. So I'll definitely have a read through that at some point. But thank you for pointing that out. So that'd be really interesting. Europe had enough diversity before globalization. Yes, yeah. Uh, Let me see. We were never asked exactly that, Right. It's just approaching 7:30. I know I did say that I was going to finish the show at 7:30 anyway. So, oh no, right. One last question from Noel. Let's read this. Question for Chief Moody. Let's have a look. What do you think of Adam Green? No more news. Do you think he is the ideal nationalist everyone should be like? Um, I think I've watched some of his stuff before, and I think Adam Green is a good nationalist, but in my personal opinion, I think someone who I think would be an ideal nationalist for people to look up to, regarding to that. Hold on one sec. Not a question, but great stream, Chief. Was good seeing you last night. Same to yourself, Kerr. I appreciate you being there, brother. I really did appreciate you being there. But sorry, to answer your question, I think he does produce good content. Adam Green in this case. Or I think, in my personal opinion, someone I think people should look up to as a prime example of an ideal nationalist. I think people like Samelia, people should look up to. I think, sorry, excuse me. I think people like Laura Tyler, people should look up to with that. People like Cyborg, in my opinion, with that. See, I can't exactly name anyone like specific. I know I've already done that with Sam, Laura, and Cyborg, but it's just there's so many great people in the movement, and I think it's a bit I don't. It's a bit of a hard question to answer, because I think there's so many people in the movement that are very, very the power couple. Yes, exactly that. Regard to that. Uh, I'm not entirely too sure, because I think it's a bit I don't want to say unfair, but I think there's definitely a lot of people in the movement who you could say are ideal nationalists within the movement, but I think someone who can be considered to be an idealistic nationalist is someone who has strong morals, strong principles, and never cucks to the system or anything like that at all. And I think there are a lot of people in our side who are the prime example of that. So, but hopefully that doesn't come off like a cop-out answer, but hopefully that may answer your question regarding to that. No. So anyway, I know that's 7:30 just now. I'm going to end the show just now. Let me see if I can find the same song in question I might have played the last time. Let me see here. What was his last name? Kicks, right. Right. Ballad of Kyle Rittenhouse. Right. Hopefully. Oh, okay. I don't think I played this before, but yeah, we'll play this song to end the show with. But anyway, so I really appreciate everyone's appearance here. So Adam Green on PA with Mark next week or two, according to one of his latest No More News vids. Oh, that'll be exciting. I'll definitely give that a check out. So, right, let's see, Chief. My question, right? Let me have a look here and see. Right, I'll be quick. Hold on one second. Let's see. My family has already made the decision to go back, but I don't know what to do. Sorry, Spiffy Acorn. Let's see. Oh, right. Here's your question. Sorry, hold on one sec. I have a serious question. If the only way for me to get back to England from America with my family is to get a shot, is it worth Oh, sorry. Let me reread that. Right. I'll answer this one question and then I'll end the show. I have a serious question. If the only way for me to get back to England from America with my family is to get a shot, is it worth the risk? I, yeah, I would definitely say if you were from the UK, especially in England, I definitely say definitely take that risk. If you want to go back and help out your country, then definitely do take that risk and go back there. Definitely go back to your ancestral homeland. I definitely would say that. Like, go back to the place like where you feel you belong in this case. But yeah, I definitely would say definitely do go back to your ancestral homeland. Definitely do that. So let's see here. And hopefully that may answer your question with that. So oh God, one of these nights you should play Flower of Scotland as an outro. Maybe one night. We'll definitely see with that. So anyway, so thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support, and I shall see you all on Thursday, which would be December. Yeah, the 2nd of December to be exact. Excellent. Right. So there's nothing holding me here in America. Well, if that's the case, definitely go back to England. I definitely would say go back to your ancestral homeland with that, especially Acorn. Definitely do so, especially with your family. So, but anyway, sorry. I'll present the show. Thank you again for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I shall see you on Thursday, the 2nd of December, with episode 47, and we will talk about the Waukesha attack that happened by Daryl Brooks, and we'll see from there. So, again, thank you again. Take care, stay safe, and good night. Thank you, and also check out the PA Book Club. I'll also post a link in the chat while I play the outro as well. So again, I'll post a link in the outro and I'll play the song at the same time. So thank you and take care. Good night.
Come all you friends and neighbors, the story I will tell concerning Kyle Rittenhouse and the criminals that he killed, while in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in sorrow and in strife, a gang of thugs flew up on him. They tried to take his life. They tried to take his life. The raper Joseph Rosenbaum was first to strike a blow, but Kyle turned and faced the foe with his rifle laid him low, with his rifle laid him low. Then little Tony Hoover come skating to the fray, but Kyle drew a bead on him and he took his life away. He took his life away. The last to try young Rittenhouse was pistol packing Gage, but Kyle blew his arm in two and Gage did run away. And Gage did run away. Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. It's only common sense. Oh, he did not do nothing wrong. He fought in self-defense. He fought in self-defense.